Okay, my guest today is a Toronto-based stand-up comic and honestly one of my favorite people in the scene. Somebody who, when I see, I'm like, okay, everything's gonna be all right tonight. Harv Khatow. So thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. I go from having one computer. I was having an issue with my computer, and then as soon as you just looked at it and it started working.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, it's the brown power in me, bro.
well, I
Brown
think
is strong in this boy.
I didn't come in here with a set plan on what to talk to you about. So why are there so many brown comics?
Oh shit! Straight off the. Are there a lot of brown comics though?
I feel you do Desi shows,
Yeah.
which are all Indian, and you've done several in a row without need and you don't have to do a lot of repeating.
You know what? With that show, it's so crazy. Like comedians will hit me up that are not part of the Toronto comedy scene.
Yeah.
They've been doing comedy in India. They moved to Canada for work and they stopped doing comedy. But they'll hit me somehow, find that show and hit me. One guy drove from I don't know, fucking Niagara or something. I don't know. I was
Drove from Niagara just to be on the show.
Yeah, but do 7 minutes. I messaged him. I was like, dude,
Whoa.
you're gonna spend way too much. I'm gonna pay you whatever I pay everyone, but it's not gonna be worth your time.
Yeah, I almost feel, and it's not that I say it as it's as if it's a bad thing, but it's almost like there's as many brown dudes as there are white dudes. Only you guys get to have your own shows.
Dude, I mean, you get to have your own shows too. It's called Yucks.
I mean, I would love to be one of the white guys on Yucks.
Soon enough, bro.
We'll see. We'll see. But I think it's more just I just noticed Indian crowds, brown people love comedy and they are way less pretentious about subject matter.
Yeah.
They're always a pleasure. If there's a large crew of brown people in the crowd, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, but our culture is like that. We pick on each other all the time.
Okay.
So people are less sensitive and get offended way lesser. You're constantly picking on each other. It's big families too. You constantly around your cousins and your elder cousin. Not me, of course, but generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally. I had an older brother who would pick on me all the time. But
Yes.
generally, you're brought up in a culture where everyone's making fun of each other.
Yes. Well, I think that I'm totally ignorant. So that about what Indian culture is. But did you grow up in India, or do I
Yeah.
recall you? Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Mumbai, India.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which used to be Bombay.
which used to be. I still call it Bombay though.
Do you?
Yeah, 100%.
I heard a lot of people do, but they
Yeah.
still call it Bombay.
Yeah, it depends on who you're around. You call it Mumbai or Bombay. It just depends.
Okay.
Both fly.
What do you what would make somebody call it Mumbai?
When you're around the Mumbai crew, you'll call it. I mean, you'll know when. So again, Mumbai became a thing for my generation because there was a right-wing political party in Mumbai that kind of forced it. I was like, nah, we should stop calling it Bombay.
You would
Let's
think
call
the
it
right-wing
Mumbai."
party would say, let's just keep calling it what the British called it.
No, the right-wingers in India are the ones that are like, nah, Indian pride.
Okay.
Forget what the British did. Let's
Gotcha.
change the names for
the right
everything.
wing, they're the national.
Yeah.
We should name it something that we want it to be.
Yeah.
But everybody who's
Yeah.
apathetic
Yeah.
in India is like, fuck Bombay. We'll
So
just call it.
exactly. So when
Okay.
I was in school, if you called it Mumbai in the wrong part, I mean, if you called it Bombay in the wrong circles, you could get beaten up.
Really?
Yeah. I don't mean you wouldn't, but yeah.
But it mattered that much that
To some people. Yeah.
because it's Mumbai or nothing.
Yeah, and that's why now the new generation is starting to call it Bombay again because it's all cool and shit. And when I call it Mumbai, they're like, "Oh, just fucking call it Bombay." I was like, "Bro, if back in my day, if I just went with Bombay, I'd get slapped in the face." Okay, so shut the fuck
You
up.
called it Mumbai, and they're like, "Where's your pride flag?" Right? They're
I don't know. It's
yeah,
gonna be
calling
weird
it Bombay.
visiting.
Calling it Bombay is like the Indian way of calling something gay.
That's such a fucking long shot. But here's the thing. I'm going back to India in Jan and I'm excited because I've not been back in 5 years. I'm waiting to see how it's changed, right? Are there flags there too? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I want to see that.
India seems pretty, from what I see on social media, very pro-Israel.
Yeah, I've not really been following that stuff so much, but
It just seemed like an odd connection. I don't
It's
know,
crazy.
what.
I don't know of a connection between Jews and Hindus. So
I don't know what it unless it's an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
The situation
yeah,
with
but what is their enemy?
Islam.
India's enemy? Oh, wow, that's deep, bro. I didn't even think of that.
Do you think that because Israel's got a problem with Islam in India?
Yeah, I
Hasn't
mean,
like
now,
aren't there wars in like
yeah.
I
Now that you're
I'm
saying
very
it,
I'm very open about my ignorance, right? But I
yeah,
do know that people fight and have battles in India between Hindus and Muslims, correct?
yeah, definitely. And I'm neither, so like I'm kind of cut
Okay.
out from the whole scene.
What are you?
I'm Zoroastrian.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. We've talked about this.
yeah.
I met a guy who was Zoroastrian. He's like, I'm
How
part
dare
of the,
you?
but he didn't tell me up front that he was Zoroastrian. So
Yeah.
he said,
We're culty
I'm
like
part
that.
of the oldest monotheistic religion in the world. I'm like, you're Jewish? And he's just like, no, I'm Zoroastrian. I'm like, that's not the oldest monotheistic. I was
It
so
is, it
indignant
is,
with
it
him.
is, yeah.
It is not.
It is.
It is not.
It is.
No,
yeah.
it is not.
I mean, it's
We'll fight you.
recognized as one.
It's definitely a monotheistic religion, but
It's
it's
the
not
first
the
one.
oldest one.
It's the oldest recognized monotheistic religion. I mean, of course, there has to be stuff.
I'm pretty sure
before it.
Judaism predates it.
No,
like,
no, no.
doesn't Zoroastrianism have its like? Didn't it start in like 600 BC or something
no,
like that?
606. No, not really. It came along before Judaism, but I mean, I don't know the dates and shit. But like when we migrated from Iran, that was 700 AD
Yeah.
into India. But that's when the thing kind of.
Well, you know what? This is perfect because like I think that Zoroastrianism is it is a small religion.
Very. So like
Right?
100,000 people in the whole world.
Really, exactly. So what is it? So it's a monotheistic religion. I think people would be genuinely curious to know
Yeah.
what it is. Tell
Yeah.
me.
It's weird because conversations about Zoroastrianism are coming up more and more recently. And I'm getting into this conversation with a lot of people, and all of a sudden it's been coming up. But anyway, we worship fire.
I feel like it's just like it's a monotheistic religion without any baggage. Tell me
Yeah,
more.
because here's the thing, because our libraries and stuff, it was such an old thing that most of the things were like it's not digital records, right? And so whenever the fucking land was taken over by conquerors, they burned down the libraries as part of like destroying the culture. So we don't know much about what the rules of the religion are. So the new people have just gone hippie with it. They're like, yeah, good thoughts, good words, good deeds, nothing matters. Smoke, drink, do whatever you want. You know,
I
So
like that.
It's
All
become
right.
cool.
Yeah. It seems like we believe in God, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Just
that's where we draw the line.
do your best out there, guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Buddhism, but we wear stuff on our bodies, you know?
Yeah. Well, Buddhists don't actually believe in a God, though.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They which I always thought was interesting that it's like it's a very elaborate system with nobody to create it.
Yeah. I know, right? I'm honestly not that curious about religion.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely fascinated.
Yeah?
Yeah, like not just for do I think like I'm very curious about the systems themselves, but also I just so want to know what's next. Like,
Oh, you want to?
oh yeah, in terms of I just want to know what's next in terms of like what happens when we die. I so want to know. Are we alone in the universe?
I don't know.
I so want to know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're one of the you don't really care.
I mean, think about it. We became humans from bacteria, and it just ends. Like, what happens to your dog when he dies? You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking dies. Bro.
So you're a Zoroastrian. Is this cutting out in and
A
out?
little bit for me,
Can you
yeah.
hear it?
Yeah, when you play with it. Yeah.
I gotta
I can still
stop
make out
doing
what
that.
you're
There we
saying,
go.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
leave it there.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you're Zoroastrian, but you're like, are you
I'm
a
not
functional
an
atheist
I'm
or?
not an atheist. I believe there is a God, but I don't believe in like there's something once death, once you die, and like you fucking go to another universe where people.
Haven't you done mushrooms though?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like people who've done mushrooms like are definitely okay with the thought of an afterlife.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I didn't do enough mushrooms.
You didn't tell me. I feel like you told me very little about Zoroastrianism
Yeah.
when I asked you. It's like you believe in a God, do good works, good
Yeah.
deeds, whatever.
And we pray to fire.
And you pray to fire.
Yeah. Which is the most fire thing about us. Honestly, like when
That's
you
pretty
enter the
dope.
fucking fire temple, there's a big ass fire inside.
Other-
It just seems like a big campfire with old people, you know?
I haven't prayed in so long. Why? Just something going on in your heart? No, I don't have a lighter. I just
Oh, dude.
I can't-
But it's fenced off. You can't, like, only priests can go to the main fire. But there's a lot of fire inside.
I call bullshit on that. That's how Protestant I am. Nobody gets in my way. Right? I want to go to God.
What is Protestant? You still Christian? You still believe in Jesus?
Yeah.
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 How are
I'm
you different?
definitely just I really just don't have a lot of hang-ups about it. I used to be so hardcore.
What do you mean by hardcore? What is hardcore?
Like hardcore Christian was like I would have debated you that the earth was like 10 to 6,000 years old, like opposed gay marriage, like super pro-life. I I think I only really spent time with like church people. Like it became my world. It was a very small world.
Honestly, I've come across a bunch of people that live that life, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but they always feel like, like someone's lied to them. Like they're so hollow, their expression, and they're
Yeah,
always
I mean
so
that's
like,
kind of just where I am. It just feels like in the Christian world, especially in the West, it's like I just don't know if we're doing it right.
I mean, who's
because
doing it right?
because it seems as, and I can only speak for evangelical churches,
What
but
does that mean?
okay, so whenever you see like a pastor who's on TV and he's like on a huge stage and there's like lights and everything
Or
and
the
there's
shaking
and
thing?
a huge
When
band,
he's healing people?
not they're like in the same kind of in the same genre, but not like a mega church pastor. Like those are all evangelicals. They're like the Protestants who, they have a live church band. They may or may not speak in tongues on stage, but they want to proselytize to everybody. Like evangelicals are about evangelizing, about getting the gospel out to as many people as possible. But it's within so in Christianity, there's three main there's three main categories. There's the Catholic Church, which is like the original, the OG. Then there's the Orthodox Church, which is like when the Catholicism became more formalized, the Orthodox were basically like, no, like we're going to keep doing it the old way, in a sense. And then Protestantism is the Protestant Reformation started by Martin Luther, where he basically like objected to how the Catholic Church did church.
Oh shit.
Like it used to be like the priest was the one that prayed to God and you had to talk to the priest and go to confession, and the priest was the only one that could read the Bible, and then Protestantism like said, no, everybody should be able to like read the Bible. Why are we praying to saints? Because like Mary is a saint, right? Like there's Saint Peter, Saint Paul, and Protestants are like, why are we praying to anyone other than God?
Oh shit. But is that same Martin Luther that had a dream?
No.
No, okay.
That's Martin Luther King Jr. Then there's Martin Luther, who was born like several hundred years before.
So it's a white guy.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Martin, yeah, there's a Martin Luther who's a white guy, and he's the guy that kicked. So if you've ever heard Lutheran, like the Lutheran church,
No.
they're named after him.
Oh shit. Dude, in my head the whole time you were saying the story, I was like, this Martin Luther is a gangster. He freed the black people.
Yeah.
He created his own version of Christianity. Like, a man's a fucking gangster, dude.
Man, he did a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this stuff.
I know. I was like,
That's
dude,
'cause
I'm learning new shit today.
Because he didn't do it. No, Martin Luther started off though. So Protestantism is big. It's a big umbrella because our team is basically like, we kind of agree on some core things, and then the rest is up to you. Like, can women be pastors? Can you have drums on stage? Do you speak in tongues? Do you not speak in tongues? The way that you do communion, like how you do church, is like up to almost every individual church.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's kind of more diverse that way. And then there's Catholicism, which is they're like the McDonald's. Like it's going to be the same wherever you go. It's always
I like that. They build the best churches. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they have some very they used to. Yeah.
You go to Europe and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah. We do. Christianity used to lead the arts, and now we just copy. We do like a bland version of what other people did like 12 years ago.
Yeah, now churches aren't that cool. They're just like buildings, bro.
Yeah, and they're
cool
they're
about
very practical, right? Here's the parking lot. Here's the worship space. Here's where the kids go. Right, this is for the room for them to be quiet in. And
okay, you don't. I was laughing because I thought you meant it as a joke. Here's where the kids go.
Oh, this is where we molest the kids.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's what I was saying. The Protestant model is, usually most churches are, if you have a church that gets big, it's because you've got a guy who speaks every Sunday that people want to hear. They're a captivating person. So a lot of big churches are in many times like a cult of personality.
Nice.
Where the guy at the front is the reason why the church is growing.
Yeah.
And they can have other stuff like good, programs and so what happens is you have this guy who's at the top who has a lot of power now, and then just like clockwork, they were stealing, they slept with somebody's wife, they, they're a bully behind the scenes, like any number. And I've just seen pastor after pastor after pastor of these big churches go down for one reason or another.
Man, that sucks. Power gets
And
to
it's,
you, bro.
so you were saying you meet all these people who feel like they've been lied to. It's because in the evangelical world and in the Catholic world, it's like because we have been, right? So you kind of like, if you still want to believe in God and think Jesus is cool, but then you don't really know what to do with it now when you don't feel like the church is like a safe place.
Yeah.
You know?
It's weird. I've never been like so associated with like a church or a temple or something like that, you know? So I don't have those kind of experiences.
Well, there is
Never hung out alone with a priest.
there's a Zoroastrian temple not far from here.
Yeah. I go there. I was there yesterday.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. But there's no priest as such. You just go there, you pray, and you leave.
So what's this? So tell me more about Zoroastrianism. So how does it work? Like what's
It's
the
a cult, bro. It's legit a cult.
It's
so
a
there's no
cult.
conversion. If your parents are Zoroastrian, you're Zoroastrian, but you can't convert into it.
You can't become one.
No.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing though. What I've known a couple other Zoroastrian people, and they were cousins.
Oh yeah.
Like
a lot of that shit.
It's like it's not an accident or a coincidence that the two Zoroastrian people that I've met are related because the world is that small.
Yeah.
And
so when me and my wife got together, we had to do a check to make sure that even in the like distant family, we aren't related.
Really? You're
Yeah.
like Zoroastrians are like Iceland.
Pretty much. Yeah. But I mean, she is Iranian. I'm more Indian. So it was a very small chance of us having an overlap.
Yeah.
But our families do know each other.
Yeah.
Even though.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like you guys keep it. It's a focus on you finding another Zoroastrian.
Yeah,
like,
but
to
it
marry.
wasn't for me or her. It's so weird. Like we just ended up meeting in Waterloo, Ontario.
And like Zoroastrian, like, oh, this is.
No, and
Did it help?
No, it didn't actually. For 4 years, we were just friends with each other, and then eventually we started dating, and then the Zoroastrian thing actually got in the way. Because both of us were thinking like, oh, the other person's only with me because I'm Zoroastrian. Because we were friends for so long. Now why are we together? And we both had that in the back of our mind. We had to have a conversation. I'm like, nah, it's not because you're Zoroastrian, you know?
Whoa.
Yeah, but yeah. So, yeah, we never were really into it. It just kind of worked out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel like it's got to be a factor. That's not.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. Because, like, it's the first Zoroastrian girl I dated ever. So
Whoa.
yes, I was never really looking for someone Zoroastrian.
Okay.
It's weird. How do you go around looking for someone from the same culture? Like you want to be with someone you connect with, not someone who prays to the same invisible man in the
I
clouds.
don't know. I mean, I feel like this isn't really a white people thing. Where like we don't give a fuck what our parents think, but I feel like family matters way more in other cultures.
Yeah, family matters way more in other cultures, but like Zoroastrians are more like the westernized people of India, so even they are like pretty open. Marry anyone you want, it's all good for the most part.
All right, that's cool. But you can't become one.
No, you cannot become one. Yeah, and
I could say I was one, but the rest of you would be like, you can't come in here.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's an exclusive club kind of thing. It's weird. Also, we marry each other, so a lot of cousins end up getting married, and that's a weird part. Once we die, they feed our body to the vultures because that's our way to go, to just donate ourselves one last time. It's ancient, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah, so till date in Mumbai, there's a place where they like put dead bodies for vultures to eat, but there are no more vultures, so now they use like solar energy to like kind of, turn it to ash. But
what?
Yeah, it's fucked.
We don't have any more vultures.
Yeah, just think about it. Like the fucking city came up around these things, and all of a sudden there was vultures eating hands on someone's fucking balcony, patio, whatever you want to call it. These days, they started shooting the damn vultures. Yeah, bro.
That is so bizarre.
It is. It's very difficult to explain things sometimes for me.
I love that. That is so eating a vulture eating a hand on your balcony because this one culture has vultures eat their dead and they just carry.
Yeah.
So they got rid of the vultures and so now they just use a giant magnifying glass to burn up the bodies.
Exactly that. It's so weird because for a while there were no vultures, so they were just like crows were eating the bodies, or like other animals were eating the bodies.
Those parts aren't allowed, right?
No, any bird's allowed. Like anyone's allowed, right? It's one last fucking feast.
That is so.
It's so weird.
Who was the Zoroaster? I remember learning a little bit about it.
He was the prophet.
He's a prophet.
He's like the Jesus or the Muhammad. You know?
Okay.
So he's the prophet. Aura Mazda is the god. Ariman is Satan.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, there is a good bad dichotomy in there. So
yeah, and honestly, like I haven't been to like religion class or anything, so I just learned stuff off of like osmosis. So I don't really know too much. I follow it though, like I wear the stuff inside. And
growing up, in a religion and knowing nothing about it is very Catholic. I gotta say, like you.
The religion was cool because we had our own culture in India, and everyone recognized it.
Yeah.
Right. So they knew why we were different, and we were different.
Do Zoroastrians get persecuted in India?
No, not at all. In fact, they get celebrated.
Really?
Yeah. There's such a small community. Like persecuting them, you'll really have to go find one. You know. Like, no one wants to put in that effort. So they're actually pretty celebrated. In fact, for the longest time, we had like some weird privilege. Like like India has a bit of corruption here and there. Every country has it, right? Now, when you get caught by cops, you can pay them off in India, right? But I, as a kid, when I would mess up and I would like run a red or something, the cop would see I'm Zoroastrian and just let me go.
Really?
Yeah, I'd be like, you know what? It's cool. Just don't do it again.
You're like outside the caste system.
But yeah, there's no caste system for us.
Yeah, you don't belong in it. That's great. So
we're just the observers.
Yeah, you're just from the outside being like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're gonna eat a burger now. See?
Yeah, we eat beef, we eat everything.
Yeah.
And no one stops us either. Again, such a small community. Who cares? No, we just go unnoticed.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But then were you caught up though in the wars between Muslims and Hindus? No, you didn't see any of that.
I mean, I saw it, but
Okay.
I wasn't caught up in it because they could tell I'm Zoroastrian, so they would just go past me like I didn't exist.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you see stuff. So when I was born, apparently there was a big riot where they were burning things under my building and stuff, and then they came to kill some people in my building, and my parents gave them shelter for the night so they could live and stuff like that.
And who were they protecting? Muslim or
a Muslim
Hindu?
family.
A Muslim family. Yeah.
But it could just as easily be the other way.
Sure.
Around. Yeah, if it was.
So the Hindus go after each other.
Yeah, it's weird. They all live together. There's no problems in India as such, but sometimes some people get radicalized and fight each other.
Yeah.
But it's not a reflection of the overall population. The overall population lives in harmony. Hindus and Muslims get along with each other. They celebrate each other's festivals. They go to each other's businesses and restaurants. It's honestly just like America is, you constantly see the shootings, and then you go to America and you're like, bro, it's pretty normal. I don't see nobody with a gun. Right?
Yeah, these extremes exist, but they're not the norm.
Yeah, exactly. So people make it seem like in India, like, if you're a Muslim person, the minute you enter, you're going to get cut into pieces. Like nothing's going to happen. Like the second largest population in India after Hindus is Muslims. So nothing's going to happen to you, but.
Gotcha. How long have you been in Canada now? You
10
said
years.
10 years.
10
okay.
years, bro. I came in 2013. It's 2020. It's exactly 10 years.
How old were you when you got here?
21.
Okay. What was like why did you want to come to Canada to begin with?
Dude, it's so weird because I did not.
You didn't?
No,
okay.
I had no intention.
What did you think of Canada then?
I had no idea. I had no idea about Canada. Its
okay,
existence.
so
I knew about a
you're
country
from
called
India,
Canada.
but did you stay in Iran for a while?
No.
Okay,
I
always
stayed in
India.
Mumbai, yeah.
Okay.
Always in Mumbai, never left. I mean, I left for trips and stuff with my
no,
parents.
you said your wife was from Iran.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No,
Sorry.
Family has an Iranian background. And
Yes.
they're more Iranian than me, but they're still Zoroastrian.
Yes.
And yeah, they've lived in Iran for a bit. But,
Okay.
but she grew up in Dubai and Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I want to start at the beginning then. So you had you said you had an older brother?
Yeah, 10 and a half years older than me.
10 and so one of you was a mistake.
Me.
You were the mistake.
100%.
Excellent.
Yeah, my family doctor loves to tell me that story.
Yeah.
About my mom running to him saying, "Doctor, please tell me I'm not pregnant."
Amazing.
And then he goes, "That was you." I was like, "Yeah, say it again. Say it again."
So you're born into a Zoroastrian family, which is a small population in India.
Yeah.
You're kind of ignored, if not venerated, by Muslims and Hindus. and you're just doing your thing. What kind of like, were you middle class, upper
Yeah.
middle class?
Yeah, middle class.
Okay.
Yeah, straight up middle class. It's weird when I tell people over here I went to private school. They're like, "Oh, you went to private school?" But every school in India is private school. Like you
Yes.
have to, if you're going to school, you're going to private school.
Yeah.
If you're going to government school, you're not going to school, really. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's not much education that happens. Honestly, private school also they don't teach anything, but at least they have some sort of a
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Did you grow up speaking English?
100%.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So
And did you want to learn?
English?
Yeah.
It was my first language.
Okay.
Yeah, like my parents speak that to me. So
Really?
yeah, it's
Okay.
weird. Like English is my first language. I think in English. I dream in
Oh.
English. So it's I know the accent sounds different, but the grammar is pretty much the same anywhere, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. That's
but yeah,
interesting.
so we always spoke that. Of course, with my family members, extended family, we spoke Gujarati. In school, you learned Hindi.
Yeah.
Outside, you learned Marathi. So in India, you just end up learning a bunch of different languages.
Okay.
But yeah, the main one is English for me.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. That's
and
awesome.
It's always been like that.
Okay. So then so you didn't want to come to Canada,
No.
but did you know that you wanted to leave India?
I had to because my grades were terrible. And in India, your grades really matter. Like
Okay.
I was so bad that they wouldn't let me go for on-campus interviews.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, you should be unemployed. You deserve that.
Wow. Okay.
So one day, I'm sitting in my graduating class, final year.
Yeah.
Everyone's going and getting these fucking jobs and shit. And I'm sitting there, and one day a guy walks in with a pamphlet saying, this university in Canada wants students, and you don't have to do the whole degree again. You can just transfer your credits and move to Canada. And I was like, I'll go.
Yeah. Which
And-
school?
The University of the Fraser Valley. I didn't Google the university. It could have all been a scam.
Yes.
I could have come here and it could have been a fucking bulk barn, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known. I honestly didn't know, and I didn't do any research about the town I was moving to, nothing. I was just like, yeah, this is an opportunity. Let's go. Let's see how it goes. I told my parents, this is what I want to do. And they were like, okay. And my brother had moved to Canada just a year before that.
Oh, okay.
But there was no real need for me to go where he was. I just was like, yo, this is a easy way.
Where did he go?
He came to London, Ontario.
Okay.
Because he hated his life. I'm kidding.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah. No, but he got a job there, so he just moved.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, long story short, I ended up in British Columbia in August of 2013 after in December of 2012 deciding to go. you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
So, and I came here, it kind of worked out. All of a sudden, I was no longer a stupid student. I was one of the intelligent ones.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
Yeah,
this worked
geez.
out.
Yeah, you think you're not applying yourself. Wait till you
Exactly.
meet us.
Yo, that's the thing. Like I tell people, I went from 1 in a billion to
Yeah.
1 in 40 million. Like my odds dramatically fucking improved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you did well. And then what did you get your degree in?
Computer information systems. You see how I had to think about that for a second?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you even well, I mean, I feel like you're early 30s.
Yeah.
Like,
Turning 32 in like a couple weeks.
okay. Yeah. You were somewhat close to that era of where they just told you if you get a degree, you can get a job.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never knew what I wanted to do with life.
Me neither.
I just went through the motions, honestly. Like you pass a certain grade and then you go to the next one. And in India, they were like, oh, you go to university, you have an option between arts, science, or commerce. My parents were like, you're going to do science. I wanted to do arts because that's where the good looking women are.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And so they pushed me in science and I just did that because I had to.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd become a pilot, but thank God I didn't. Like air pressure doesn't agree with me.
Gotcha. All
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, long story short, this guy walks in one day and I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, computer science also, I ended up by mistake. Everyone thinks, oh, you're brown, of course, computer science. It was
Yeah.
a mistake. I did science, and then they were like, okay, either do engineering or do a BSc. I wasn't smart enough for engineering, so
Yeah.
I'll do BSc, but I wasn't interested in math, physics, chem, bio, anything. They were like, the only other option is computer science. I was like, fuck
Yeah.
it, I'll do that.
Oh, okay.
So I just managed to like scrape myself through computer science and made it to Canada.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then is that where you met your wife?
Yeah.
In BC?
No,
Okay.
in Waterloo.
In Waterloo.
Yeah,
okay.
I was on a year-long co-op at BlackBerry.
Oh, very
best,
good.
best fucking experience of my life.
Why?
No work. Everyone around you just keeps getting fired.
Were you there at the end?
Yeah. But
Oh.
they can't fire a co-op, right? So I have immunity.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm out there playing foosball while people are crying because they lost their co-workers that they've been working for 30 years with. And I was like, you want to play a game,
we
bro?
would fire Harv, but we're not paying him.
Yeah.
So that's so funny.
Yeah, and it was the best thing ever. I just played foosball all day and made money to play foosball. Yeah, it was the best job ever, honest to God. And once I left, my whole team got fired. There was one of my friends, my current manager. He was one of my friends at BlackBerry. His whole team got fired. For 3 months, I don't think he even came to BlackBerry, and no one knew. Like, that's how, dude. They had strings on campus when they would fire people. They would have strings for the people that they didn't fire to go and talk to someone. Like, that's how bad it was.
So if the people who got to stay around were still talking to like Survivor's Guild.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you want to talk to someone because you're crying. You lost a friend. You had to fire someone. You know.
Oh.
So go talk to someone. Like, oh. Meanwhile, I'm just using the fucking machines to get some peanuts on the side. You know, I'm like having the time of my life.
Seems quiet today.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody?
Yeah, I would miss all the team meetings.
Yeah,
because it was at 9 a.m., bro. Who the hell puts a team meeting at 9 a.m.?
People who are getting fired.
No, but like this was a monthly thing. A monthly team meeting was 9 a.m. My director literally had to sit me down and be like, "Yo, you got to start showing up to the team meeting."
Yeah, I start at 8, so I mean 9 doesn't seem so
8
bad.
8 a.m., bro.
Yeah.
What, do you hate your life?
I think I'm so old now that it doesn't matter. Like
I work sales now, so I do work early and I work. But like when you are a co-op student, especially in Waterloo.
Oh, in your 20s,
Yeah.
I do remember when I first started my day job and like it being, and I used to work in restaurants.
Oh, nice.
So my body clock was totally different. Like
Yeah.
I was waking up when I worked at restaurants at like 10 or 11 to get in for my shift at noon, and I would work like doubles during the week, and I would finish at like midnight.
I have respect, bro.
Yeah, and then I switch immediately to needing to be up at like 7 and getting to the office for like 8:30.
Okay.
And that was a hard adjustment. And yeah, when you're young, like I started my day job when I was like 24.
Yeah.
You know, your body wants to sleep in still. I feel like when you're that young.
Yeah, and here's the thing, man. I have respect because I worked a restaurant job for like 16 hours and then I quit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, this is it. One day I walked in, they're like, the dishwasher quit. You're the dishwasher for the day. I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, to me it was just you could work not a lot but make pretty good money. That was to me the advantage. But then I grew to hate it because I didn't have like evenings or weekends. We're gone. Like all the times that my friends were out like partying, I was working.
I mean,
and
comedy is the same, isn't it?
And I hate it. Yeah, I hated it.
But you love comedy, don't you?
Well, I mean, sorry, I don't envy what my friends do now.
Oh yeah,
doing comedy is way better than
What are
like
they
being
doing
stuck
now?
at. They're in bed at 9 watching The Office.
Oh man,
Right, falling asleep to the glow of The Office, going to sleep. Like I had this conversation with Himansu. He was, because we're both older guys in the scene. He's just like, yeah, we like. Do you think we'd be better off like being a couple of schlubs watching the game?
yeah,
Right?
That's
Like,
so weird, right?
Right. I don't want to do that. But I was always kind of out like doing stuff. I feel I don't know. A lot of guys my age are boring.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Maybe I'm boring too, but
No, not really. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people like you're my brother's age, right?
Yeah, okay.
So a lot of people my brother's age are boring, but he's not.
yeah,
He
I
doesn't
mean,
do
well,
comedy either.
it's weird. It's a weird gender because I'm a millennial, but like I'm an older millennial.
Yeah, what's your year?
82.
Okay, he's 81. So
Yeah.
yeah, you guys are the same age.
We're in the same age, and we're in the same cluster of those like late Gen Xers too. And I feel like Gen X was like really stick it to the man,
Mhm.
and then like younger millennials are kind of like, let's do what the man says.
Yeah.
Like I have that stick it to the man kind of attitude. Like don't tell me what to do.
I have a stick it to the man attitude because of my mom. She was
Yeah.
too much of a protective mother, and she was like always like,
Yeah,
control
I
me.
had my dad was like he was an avid spanker,
Oh,
and it hardened me early.
oh
Like
nice.
my brother, I remember saying, he was like, yeah, I always remembered like dad would hit us and you wouldn't cry.
Oh,
And I'd be like, oh yeah. I remember being like 5 years old and telling myself, don't cry, don't give him the satisfaction of knowing he hurt you.
Oh, dude.
And being like, man, that's like,
You're like a
and
little
for
David Goggins, bro.
yeah, right. That's like a little 5-year-old. That's like kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like to be like, yeah.
Yeah. Go bald and fucking start running around. You have the Goggins in you, somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Have you read his book? Like that's what he
No.
did. He talks about like taking souls and stuff. It's like when someone wants to hurt you, they get the pleasure from hurting you, and if you don't show the pain, you basically take their soul. They don't know because they would have broken under that pressure, and you're not breaking. So now you kind of like they question their whole.
yeah.
Existence.
I need something to build confidence again. I should read something like that.
His book is great.
Yeah.
But like his lifestyle is crazy, man. Running like that, like.
Yeah,
fuck
I
that
feel like
shit.
he's like running so he can die of a heart attack in his late 50s.
Yeah.
I feel like
I mean, he's in his late 50s, so it could happen
Is he?
anytime, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, I can't. There's something like I agree with like working out.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fine. And again, I don't know anything,
Yeah.
right? I just want that to be clear.
Same.
But I also feel like working your body to the brink all the time
Yeah.
will make it wear out earlier. There's
Yeah.
something about that makes sense to me.
Yeah, me too.
If you're
Also-
going to like burn out levels all the time.
Yeah. Also, Goggins is like a little too much, like constantly being like, oh, fucking work out. I mean, I can't do that. I gotta go eat a burger and shit, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be able to work out all the time if I was a successful entrepreneur that like I didn't have to be there to see the money come in.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the SEALs and shit,
I know,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like the-
fucked. Would you ever like go fucking join the armed forces? Like, what if like Canada was going to war? What do they call it when you're called up?
the draft.
Yeah, that's the worst thing to call it. The draft.
The draft. Yeah,
It
you're
seems-
getting.
It
You are
seems like
fighting.
you're joining the NBA.
Yeah, it's you're getting drafted for death. That
For
is
death.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my dad always talked about like I have really good eyesight, and my dad was always like, "You're wasting it by not becoming a fighter pilot."
Oh, I thought he was gonna go down the sniper route. Like you're wasting it. You
No,
could kill a
or
bunch of
something like
fucking
that, but-
Arabs,
And the thing was, when I was a kid, I always loved like my favorite movie forever was Bloodsport.
Oh, I love that movie, dude.
Oh,
man.
I rewatched it as an adult, and it is so laughably bad.
Really?
But as a
I love that movie
it's
still.
like how many? It's a whole movie based along like how many shots can we get of Van Damme doing the splits?
It's so true.
Right?
But,
Like,
like,
let's have him doing the splits on top of the rooftop in the mountains, on the fighting surface.
But the whole fucking closed eyes thing and
Oh, I know.
like,
I
it's so
mean,
beautiful.
it's a I
That
love
movie's a
fighting.
masterpiece.
I think the only sport I ever watched was the UFC.
Same. Oh, I mean, I watch soccer too, but like the UFC, the MMA and boxing are very dear to me. My dad's a coach. He
really?
He coached boxing for 25 years.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when you talk about your parents hitting you, when my dad hit me, I felt it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You.
Yeah. But he didn't hit me that much
No.
because he was always worried about killing us by mistake. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like,
yeah. No. My dad knew how to hit us just enough. Just.
No, my dad is not. In that way, he was very. He's still very
Yeah.
nice. And we have a very chill relationship. Like I can call him by his first name.
Yeah. I don't. My dad and I haven't spoken for years. So.
Oh, dude, that's really?
Not so great.
Oh.
But I think like other parents, I felt like my dad hit us out of anger.
Yeah.
Like he would have this like angry look on his face, whereas like I knew a guy whose dad would like, if you do this, this is the consequence. And
Yeah.
then he, when he would spank him, he'd be like, it's this number of times. We're going to talk about it. It was like, it was coupled with like a whole other package of parenting.
Mm.
And so like he has a good relationship with his dad. But
Yeah.
like for me, it made me be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
Like
fair
from the beginning.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I deserved every beating I got.
I mean, I
I
don't know
fucking deserved
if
it.
a child could do anything that really warrants a beating. That's
Oh, buddy, I can do some things.
like
you
what?
know?
What does a child do
Oh,
to like
I'm a menace, bro. Like raising me, honestly, is the toughest thing anyone's had to do. And that's why when my parents are like, when people are like, oh, my parents hit me, I was like, my parents are totally justified. If I was my parent, I would have beat the shit out of me. One day, just for fun, I cut my my neighbor's cable wire. It took me a while, but I did it.
Yeah.
And I just did it because I wanted to see if the scissor could cut it.
Yeah,
It couldn't. But it took me hours. I did it. You know?
Yeah, that's
But like that's not what
because you're a kid. You have no semblance of like how hard things are to fix.
I
Or
was pretty old for, me not to do that.
yeah.
And again, as a teenager, I've done shit that,
I
would be
mean, me
like,
too, man.
Yeah.
Like I was definitely not like a great.
I was an asshole.
Yeah, I was definitely not a great kid, but at the same time, when I don't know, I didn't like have a great relationship with my parents, so it wasn't like I think I had a like I make my own decisions. Like I don't believe you because I don't. Why would I trust people who hurt me?
Fair.
You know.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
Not to use that as like I definitely made like terrible choices.
100%. I'm pretty sure you did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, boys growing up just have that need to like do crazy shit. I believe that. I believe like when you're in your teens and your early 20s, it's like the most trying times.
Oh yeah.
You kind of calm down after you are in your late 20s. After 25, you kind of calm down a bit. But
yeah.
before 25, you're just doing shit for the fun of it,
Yeah, and I think I don't think I really felt like I was like a man until I was like 37. Like
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
still feel like
I
a
felt
kid.
like I felt like a kid most of the time.
Yeah. That's why I'm still doing like childish shit sometimes.
Yeah, like
And my
being a
wife is-
comic.
yeah, exactly.
What does your wife think of comedy?
She's very proud of it.
I mean, she's pretty cool. I mean, like Harv has a great wife. She actually like she comes to see his shows and
Yeah.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
and
yeah, she's pretty.
so that's pretty supportive.
Yeah.
So, and I guess you guys you're still young. Is she younger than you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She's
you
a
got
year younger.
Year
She's
younger.
exactly 9 months younger. So I like to
Really?
make that joke. Like the day I was born, your parents were like, "Let's go chop chop."
nice. Get her ready
Yeah.
for Harv. Yeah. So she doesn't mind that you're out all the time, but I mean, yeah. But you're in your early 30s, so clock is ticking
On what?
for kids. If you want, do you
We
want
both
kids?
are not that interested.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fair.
So
You
there's
know,
no
I've
ticking
met
clock.
I've met a lot of like I've met a few comedy couples. Not that like either one or both do comedy, and they're they're good to bypass that. I always wanted to have kids.
Yeah. And even if I'm out late, sometimes she'll come and join me.
Yeah,
So if she's up for it, she'll just come wherever I am and we'll hang out.
yeah, that sounds fun.
Or, I take some days and we just hang out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Did you always? When did you want to do comedy?
Oh man, that's a tough question because I toyed with the idea for years.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the first time I wanted to do comedy was around 2015, 2016, right? But it was just in my head that this is something I'll do someday. I was in Waterloo and I was looking up places.
yeah,
And back then it showed me that there was this open mic in Mississauga or some shit like that.
yeah,
And I would email them and never hear back. And I was like, someday I'll hear back and I'll do comedy and shit like that. But then I
Yeah.
got to do it in my university because of some sociology project. So as a CIS student, I had to take a sociology elective.
Okay.
I didn't have to take a sociology elective. I had to take an elective. I took sociology because there was a lot of women in those classes. So I was like, fuck, I'm going with the hot girls.
yeah,
And so I ended up taking sociology and ended up enjoying the class actually.
yeah.
It was really cool. I should have fucking majored in that shit. I enjoyed myself thoroughly during that course. And then there was a option between either write a 10-page paper or do something and write a 1-page paper. I was like, okay, I don't write papers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to write the 1 page and I'm going to do comedy.
Yes. Okay.
And so I did comedy for the whole class. They probably hated it.
Yes.
I liked it. I've never used a joke from that ever again.
Yeah, I feel like people do these like weird one-off comedy like experiences and they never return to that material again.
Yeah. And then I came to Toronto and I was like, oh, I'm going to just work and get a job and all of that, figure that out, get my PR, and then,
Yeah.
then we'll see comedy. And then all of that happened and eventually I ended up at this Cameron House show.
Okay.
Back then, Jen Cicado would run it.
Yes.
I don't know if you know Jen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jen would run it and I just went up and asked, how do you get on? I didn't even know what the concept of an open mic was.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a book show? None of that. It was a book show.
You had
that
no
day.
idea how any of the system works.
Nothing. So I just show up and I was like, Jen, how do you get on? And I would love to get on someday. And she's like, how about today?
Oh
And
wow.
I was like, no. And she's like, okay, for the future, if you actually want to do comedy, if someone tells you how about today, just say yes. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, okay, can I go back in time and say yes then? And she was like, yeah, for sure. So then I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I had nothing prepared. I just went on stage and like fucking word vomited for what 5 minutes, 7. And here's the thing, Jen likes to tell that too. Is like she didn't tell me what the light is before I went on stage.
Yes.
So now she's showing me the light, but I have no fucking clue what that means.
Yeah, you assume they're taking your picture.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, this is really clicking. I'm famous off the first thing I ever did, right? These people want a picture of me? Nice.
Yeah, that's why I think there's something to be said for, like when I first started and I was like hanging out with Brandon, like it was nice to have somebody who could kind of be my guide through the scene.
Yeah.
It was nice to have somebody who could like tell me the history, show me how things worked, what the system actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from being a nobody who, you've done one open mic to Just for Laughs? What does that path look like?
I still don't know any of it. I'm literally a trial and error guy. I don't ask too many questions. I keep doing things, and when I fail, I take it on the chin and I try another way.
Yeah, I think you. Well, so how long have you been doing comedy now, like consistently?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. So did we start around the same time?
Exactly.
Okay, so we started exactly the same time. So we're
Brett's backyard.
Brett's backyard.
That's
How did you find out about Brett's backyard?
through the grapevine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oshawa.
Yeah, I did.
Rusty. No, not Rusty. What was it called? Crazy Jack.
Yeah, Crazy Jack, and I did. The first place I ever killed was it wasn't. It's King's Crown now, but what was it before?
Oh, I know the place. I don't know what it was.
That other spot. Anyway,
The first place I killed ever was Oshawa.
yeah, Oshawa was the first place I killed. That
Yeah.
was my like I got my first applause break laugh, like laughs all the way through.
Yeah.
So
What a weird feeling, no? When you get off.
oh my,
After that, you're like, what just happened?
yeah,
How did I do that?
yes.
How do I redo that?
How do I redo that?
Yeah.
And then you get audiences that do not want you to have that joy ever again.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes I see a comedy audience and I never blame the audience. But sometimes you
I
see
do.
that one person, and I never do. I just never do. But like sometimes you see this one person just sitting like that through the whole show, and I was like, why did you come here? Like, there's so
Yeah.
many things you could have done with your $20.
Yeah,
Buy
it's
two
just
pre-rolls,
it's a weird it's weird, but I don't know. It's sometimes it's hard to because we do shows so much. It's hard to see it from the audience's perspective anymore.
Yeah. But
Like-
let's not say I never blame the audience.
Yeah, if you've been doing comedy for 2 and a bit years now. What have you found to be the hardest part?
The hardest part of comedy is not the comedy itself, right? The writing the jokes, the doing the jokes, the performing, it's all the easy part. It's what happens off stage that's the hardest part, right? It's for someone like me who doesn't really talk a lot to people, who doesn't know how to make friends, who doesn't know all of these networking things.
Yeah.
I've had to learn that.
Yeah.
And people around me that know me outside of comedy have actually like caught on to that and be like, dude, you've come out of your shell a lot. Like now I
Yeah.
go up to people and I'm like, hi, my name is Harvasp.
Yeah.
Like I could not do that. Like I would start sweating and stuff. Earlier.
Really?
I would get very nervous going up to someone and being like, hi, I'm a comedian. I'd like to be on your show. I don't
Yeah.
do that anymore anyway, but like, it's just it's become a lot easier. I know people. Like if I walk up and I see you, I'm gonna like smile, say hi.
Yeah.
I feel like I belong now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's places where I feel like I belong, and other places where I feel like it's not so welcoming.
Mm-hmm. And that'll always be the case, right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just that's the part of it where it feels very high school in some ways.
Yeah, it's
and
like
I
a little
really,
bit of
I really hate that. But
I enjoy it.
do you?
I enjoy every aspect of it. I don't know. It's such a privilege to do what we do.
I
People
mean,
miss
that's
that.
true. I mean, that's the thing, though, is like you're getting to complain about doing the thing that you love. Like
Right?
that is really.
And the thing we love is such a crazy thing. We get to hold a mic and talk shit in it.
Oh, I know.
I can go up on stage and pick on a guy 7 times my size, and he has to just watch me do it. You
Yeah.
know? And his girl is right next to him. Like any other place, that guy could have crushed me like a fucking can of Coke. You know?
Yeah.
But he just has to watch me do my thing. And I just love the idea of like someone laughing when I say something. I've always been the kind of guy who's the funny guy.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, it gives me a little kick. It's like, I've never done cocaine, but like if I were to ever do cocaine, I feel like I'm going to find it ordinary because of the high I experience on stage.
Oh yeah, it's you're not the first person who like talks about it in terms of like addiction.
It definitely
Right.
is
It's just like you're not just addicted to doing it. It's like you're addicted to improving at
Yeah.
it too, right? Like
Yeah.
you just want to be able to, whatever your best was, you're like, okay, that's as good as I can do. Now I want to be able to do better than that.
Yeah.
And you have to do it so much to try to get there. Because there's so many shows that are they're hard. Like the audiences are tough, or like they're or like you open with a joke that always works and it doesn't, and you're like, that you're in for a grind.
Yeah.
Like this next 7 minutes is
It's
gonna be
gonna be-
painful for everybody.
Yeah, including me.
For like especially me, and like it's like the learning how to like navigate that.
Yeah. Yeah. But
It's
all
rough.
of that is enjoyable. If you think about it, like if you go back in your head, those moments are still enjoyable. And not in the moment, of course, in the moment you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But when you look back at it, like how much does it matter? It didn't work out that day.
Yeah,
Right.
that day was not for me.
Yeah.
Just that's
As
why.
long as those days are not every day, then you should be worried.
Yeah.
But like if it's few and far between, then you're good, dog.
Well,
Like,
I don't know, but I feel like I went a lot of days where I wasn't having bad days at all for a long time.
Yeah, that
and then,
happens.
And
You're
then
just riding
you're
it.
on you're riding it, and then you do have a bad day, and it's soul crushing.
yeah.
And like I really when I had Jam on, he was saying like learn how to bomb. I'm like I need to like learn how to bomb again. I need to start being okay
Yeah.
with it not going great. I'm not. I think I've told you like from here on in, like for the next like month or two, I'm not really like looking for book shows. I'm just gonna try to like write an open mic and try to like just grind. Just
Right.
try to like I just want to get better.
Yeah.
I saw Tim Dillon last night. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like just wall to wall laughter.
Nice. I subscribe to the idea of get used to the silence,
Mm,
but I also don't like the idea that when some people I see are bombing, they'll like double down and try to bomb harder.
yeah.
That's not an idea I subscribe to personally. I mean, to each their own, but personally, I feel like in my 7 minutes, I want to do everything in my power to turn it around. So that
Oh,
when I'm off
yeah.
and I bombed, I'm like, whatever, I tried.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think like trying to make it worse.
Yeah, leaning into it is what I kind of get annoyed with sometimes,
When I think about leaning into it, it's more like, okay, if you didn't like it, like, can I lean into it more where it's so ridiculous that you think it's funny, but like making it bad for the sake of making it bad,
Yeah.
like antagonizing
Yeah.
the audience. Yeah, that.
Because
That's
then
not
now you're putting the whole show in jeopardy. Because like, and sometimes there's like a competition on how many people walked, and that's a competition I don't understand at all.
No,
Okay.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I was like, what are you competing about?
I mean, sometimes you can't help it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. You might have jokes that make people walk. That could happen, but like
100%.
doing it on purpose.
Right, and
That-
competing on how many
Yeah.
people you walked versus how many someone else walked. I'm like, oh, I walked way more than you, bro. That's not something to be proud of.
Is there a skill in comedy that you'd like to develop, or is there something that you want to be able to do better?
Yeah, man, I want to be able to talk about myself more,
Mm.
and make jokes that are more authentic to me rather than my background or
Yeah.
my culture or the differences in my culture versus where I grew up. I feel like all of that is pretty like base level, and I want to get more into who I am and be more vulnerable. I feel like I'm not confident enough to put myself out there. That's
Mm.
why I hide behind the jokes of,
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
hide behind it. It's still authentic to me, but like there's more to me than
Yeah, I
just-
see. I see what you're saying. Like you wanna. You're just like I feel. I see what you're saying too, and I think that I'm kind of. Yeah, I just want to do like set up punch. I'm just trying to be. How can I be as much funny as I can be? How about I learn the rules before I start like breaking the rules? Because I feel like I don't want to just start going after taboos or sharing like my really. A lot of people say, "Oh, you should talk about your religious background and stuff." It's like that's really hard to do. It's really hard to do that in a way. Like
Yeah.
you say your whatever religious persuasion, like especially Christian. Like people are like, "Well, it makes it sound like you beat up a gay person before you got on stage." Right? Like it
Yeah.
has that kind of baggage.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need more time and experience before I can do that justice.
I want to be a storyteller. in my
Yeah.
element, like when I feel like I'm the most funny is when I'm telling a funny story.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the story.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, like narrating a story comes very easily. I just don't do it on stage for some reason. Because again, you have 7 minutes. You don't want to get into a story and then realize no one's interested. And now what do? You just don't tell the story.
Yeah, right. And when you're not blessed with a ton of stage time,
Yeah.
like you need to make the most of that 7 minutes,
Yeah.
where opposed to having like a story that's kind of couched in between with some really funny stuff or
Yeah.
yeah.
But as things mature, as stage time increases, I feel like I'll naturally lean more towards the storytelling aspect of my life, and things that I see differently compared to maybe others would be something that I work towards developing more and more.
Do you have anything in mind? Like, is there like when you say that, is there something specifically that you would want to talk about that you already?
There's so many things, bro. I'd like to talk about just incidents from my life rather than, a general idea of what it's like being Indian.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of nuances with me. My mom, honestly, like I honestly could write a special on that lady.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she is a character.
Yeah.
Like she is a very strong-willed person, very disciplined person, right? But oh man, can she yell, bro? Like my whole street knows what her voice sounds like because
Yeah,
she would
yeah.
yell across the street to me.
Yeah.
And so she's funny in her own way. The way she says things, the way she looks at the world
Yeah.
is so funny and it's so different. Like
Yeah.
and that, yeah, just my dad's super funny, bro. The shit he does sometimes, I'm just like, I don't know how you got to this age without someone telling you not to do this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know. Someone should have, but they did.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny.
Like one day we were at the Sobeys and it's so weird. My dad's looking at fuck, I know the Hindi word for it, but I don't know the English word for it. It looks like parsley, but it's not. Coriander. Coriander.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So it's fucking. He's looking at bunches of coriander, and weirdly he has some fucking mental image of what the coriander is supposed to look and feel like. So he's feeling these different bunches, looking at them, and then when he found the bunch he wanted, he made me hold it, and then one by one, it was on the top shelf, right?
Yeah.
One by one, he's throwing the other bunches back up. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah, this is him being considerate.
Yeah.
Just throwing shit back at the grocery store.
Yeah, in the basket. Like he's not throwing it at someone, but he was still like tossing it up. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why did you have to test out 15 bunches?
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, he's trying it like they're watermelons.
Yeah.
You can see everything that you need to see. That's so funny. What do you want to do with comedy? Like, what's your goal?
My goal is to do comedy at like the biggest stage possible.
Yeah.
So like stadiums and shit. But like if it, like, I don't know, man. You say this stuff, but I want it.
Yeah.
Will it ever happen? God knows. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Got to keep working.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah.
But
well,
doesn't everyone?
I mean, you better hope so.
Yeah.
But I think also like the longer you do it, the more kind of specific your vision is.
Right.
Right? Because, I'd be there's a lot of baggage that comes along with being super famous.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I feel like Matt Rife got super famous.
What do you think about a special?
I haven't seen it yet, but what I was going to say is that the guy gets super famous. 3 months later, his special comes out, and everybody's like talking shit about him.
But don't you want that?
I don't. Well, I guess so, but it's like it's like people are getting mad at him because like the domestic violence joke, but then other people are like he's like betraying his audience by trying to do this type of stuff, and it's like I don't know. I don't know. I just want to be funny.
That's the whole idea of being an artist, right? You think this is your art, you put it out there, and then people comment on it, and
that's fair.
And then you get. I mean, come on, how popular is fucking Matt Rife?
I mean, it's pretty big right now.
Yeah, how many people watched his special?
Yeah.
I'd rather people fucking comment and say what they thought about my special negatively rather than not knowing it ever existed.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I think for me, I don't think I'm at a place where I want to have a specific vision because other than I just want to get good.
Yeah.
I just want to be really good. So people like the thought of putting out a special in my first like 3 years or something like that seems crazy. Like I don't think anybody's masters anything in that amount of time.
I don't think so either. But
Yeah.
you can if you want to. I mean, at the end of the day, what is a special, really? I mean,
Well, it's a
it's
picture of where you are at
yeah,
that point.
exactly.
So
It's where you are at that point. So if you keep doing it, you keep releasing your specials as you do, people
Yeah.
will see your improvement, they'll see your growth, and they'll follow your journey in a way, right?
yeah.
Like us putting up YouTube videos and stuff like that. That's the same thing. It's just a shorter format. Right?
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're happy with something and if you're proud of it, put it out there, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, that's the thing though, is like I speak for me, like just for me, I know that I'm not in a place where I want to showcase it yet.
Okay,
Like I don't like,
Yeah.
I've
that's
had
fair.
I've had some great shows, but like I don't have the best ones I've ever done are 7 minutes,
Mhm.
right? Like I've done some pretty good like 20-minute ones, but like have there been like jokes that didn't work in that 20 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to have like a crusher
Mm.
of a special.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I kind of want to start putting out longer stuff now.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point I want to do that where I want to put out stuff where people can watch it for like at least 10 minutes.
Like of straight stand up?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
And see where it goes, right? I mean, in some way, I'm just documenting my life at this point, right?
I mean, that's almost what social media is,
Yeah.
right? We're kind of documenting it as we go.
Yeah, and I feel like I lost so many jokes in the 2 years that could have been out there that are good jokes.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of past the point where anyone wants to be engaged with those topics.
But you can still just release them as like a joke you say to the camera, right? In
yeah,
that
no, I
sense,
still have recordings of that joke that I'm crushing. But like if I put it on the internet, it's a joke about the FIFA World Cup. People are going to be like, what the fuck?
oh,
You know?
gotcha. Yeah, no, I see. Yes, I see what you mean. I see
Yeah.
what you mean. Like, especially if you're doing,
Or all my COVID material. How much COVID material did we all have?
I didn't have that much.
Really?
Well, for me, I think especially at the beginning, I'm like, I want to become a headliner as quickly as possible. So I don't want to do a ton of material that links me to a specific place in time.
Mm,
Like I don't want to have stuff that will eventually be age out.
yeah. I
But-
like being topical personally.
Well, I think it's always good to have topical a little because
Mm.
it helps like it's a good just like start out the show with like, hey, what's going on in the world or like a little crowd work.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have like my set dependent on like something that happened 4 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why like you should have material that's more personal to you that you can tell
Yes.
outside of any time frame,
Yeah.
But those jokes are now dead to me. I never tell them.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They crushed every time. I have such good recordings. But if I put it out right now, it's gonna make it seem like I'm going back in time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely like something that Brad Goss says. Like,
Yeah.
it's just put it out. Would
Yeah.
you rather it do well in front of 30 people or 30,000 people?
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, like my aim, if you ask me, the overall aim is to do comedy to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
But right now, the aim is just to create and put it out there.
yeah. So do you have, but you don't have, is your primary vision in terms of like just doing comedy on stage? Like, did you want to do stuff in the online world too?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, bro. I want to do it in any form and format, right? I just want to learn as much as I can, see
Yeah.
what I'm good at, and eventually find what I'm great at.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like having you because I feel like we're both kind of in like the same place, like just trying to figure out, like get
Yeah.
a foothold in it. Like
exactly,
it's going good, but like there's a ways to go. Right?
exactly. And until you try, you won't know if you're actually good at it or not.
Yeah.
So I love like trying new things. I love doing sketches and trying that stuff, doing more online stuff, maybe podcast, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Well,
whatever.
that's kind of like the reason I did the podcast. It was like if I was living my ideal life, I would be doing one. I would want to be able to just sit down with people and like talk about some specific things and
yeah.
have like I love doing it. So why not just build the life I want now?
Exactly. And eventually, like honestly, this is all great to have in the bank right now.
Yeah.
It's like you're buying stocks and hoping they mature, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and-
you're hoping eventually it'll pay off, and then
Yeah.
all the work that you did before will start to get viewership.
Exactly.
And,
And now you have this gold mine of fucking videos at the back that people want to see. Oh, what was he like before the fame? What
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Jay
yeah.
Bill? And some people, of course, are going to comb through it to find a way to cancel you. But either way, views,
I know, right? Just
Yeah.
like that is the hard part. Is
Do
like
you believe anyone can get cancelled? realistically?
Yeah. I mean, in what context? Because like there's the comedy world and then there's like the outside world where it's like,
Even in the comedy world, like there are so many people that people say, without taking any names, there's so many people that people say like, oh, fucking cancel. But
well,
they
I
do,
mean,
like,
there are people in the scene who have been accused of some heinous shit and they're still around. So
yeah, I wouldn't know too much about that.
you know what? I say there's a lot of stuff that has been said about people pre-pandemic. I am just meeting the person in front of me.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is like, I'm not a gatekeeper. Like, I don't book shows where I need to be concerned with the image.
Dude, remember that open mic I used to run on the beach?
I remember that. Yeah.
I had
that was fun.
That was so much fun. And then we used to do it in Trinity Bellwoods Park and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yelling. Yeah. In pandemic era comedy where you're just like going out on the street and yelling at people.
Exactly. And now I'm doing these shows just to get some sort of stage time, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody in comedy. Everyone I meet is a brand new face over there for me, right? I'm starting to meet people. I booked someone on that show.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say book, you're not a book. Like, it's a fucking mic.
I gave him a spot.
Yeah. And I give everyone a spot because I don't know who's good, who's bad, who's evil, who's nice, whatever. I give this person a spot, and then I get a message from one of his ex-girlfriends, I guess, and a long ass message about how, like, why they shouldn't be booked and why they shouldn't be. I'm like, wow, man, comedy is weird, bro.
This guy's a Nazi and blah. I'm like, isn't his girlfriend like not white? Like, it's just, I've had some, I try to like keep out of it. I don't like.
I was like, I mean, why would I care? It's an open mic. I mean, what am I gonna do? A police check? Fuck.
Yeah, right. I mean, I do think that. I think you can be canceled enough. I think you can be like. I think it is possible, but if you're conducting yourself like a normal human being, you probably won't have to worry about that.
Exactly. People give too much importance to this whole cancellation thing. I'm like, what are the demons in your closet that you're so worried about?
I guess what you're talking about is like, can you be like so edgy that certain people won't book you? But like the fact of the matter is those people, like, those people aren't booking me anyway. So I'm not really concerned. Like, yeah, there might be a few pockets of the scene that won't book me, but like, I don't really care about those specific spots.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
and most of the spots just want someone who's funny, bro. And
exactly. And it goes both ways. Like, even if you're like, I'm not one of those guys who likes to tell people, I don't want to censor people.
Same.
I don't want to be the person who censors people. You know who's really going to censor you? The audience.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're going to be the ones who don't laugh at your joke. Like, I think you can get pretty edgy, but if it's funny, people will laugh.
Yeah.
And so the
bombing is punishment enough.
Yeah, and the thing is though, it's the bad part is the people who do that type of stuff don't learn from the bomb. They don't, like, they keep doing those same types of jokes, or they don't change it.
Yeah.
And they keep bombing. And so it's like, are you a comic or do you just want to say extreme things?
Exactly. That's what I don't understand.
That's
like, some of these bits aren't working, and now I'm seeing you at a show like months later and you're still trying that bit. I'm like, bro, it didn't work. It didn't work the last 7 times. It's not gonna work magically again.
Yeah. So
but I get it, yo. Everyone has their own. The comedy is so subjective. Like, how can you tell either of us is funny with full confidence,
Yeah.
Like, there can be a guy that just looks at our best fucking set and doesn't even crack a smile.
No, and I think that's the thing, though. You're never going to appeal to everybody.
Exactly.
So you're gonna.
For most comedians, it's like a 70-30, right? 70% of the audience likes you, 30% can't stand you.
Yeah.
That means you had a great set.
Yeah. And if you can get that 70%, you don't even know that 30's there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man.
Unless it's a 10-person show and 3 are sitting right in front of you, just staring you down the whole time.
I know, with their arms crossed.
Yeah. I love that, though.
Yeah.
Fucking love it.
They're the ones you talk to the most.
Yeah, the most. Like, the weird part is, like, sometimes I can see that it's going nowhere, but, like, to my detriment, I'll still keep talking to them.
Yeah.
I'm like that kid that wants validation from everybody.
Yeah.
For some reason. And I just, like, sometimes when I'm watching myself again on video, I'm like, why the fuck?
I know.
Did you have to spend
But that's the
2
thing,
minutes?
though. It's like, that's the frustration. Is like, you walk away from a set thinking, like, a better comic would have been able to turn this around. Like, a great comic would have been walked in that room and taken command of it. It's like, what needs to be done to do that. But I think like I think that's just something that you learn in time.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
100%.
So
It was crazy though. Watching you initially was crazy because, like you said, you came in with a clear vision of
yeah.
this is what I want. This is and that's how I'm gonna do it. And you already had a brief idea of how comedy works.
Yeah.
You didn't seem all that fresh.
Yeah, I mean, I got told that a lot. I got told by a lot of people that they like I didn't come off as new,
Mhm.
which, I took as a big compliment, but I think it's just because um I hope it doesn't sound like braggadocious, but like I think number one, I think I have a natural like sense of humor.
Mhm.
Like I think I know what's funny. Like I
Mhm.
was funny before I started doing comedy, and but also learning joke structure,
Mm.
like learning like the Jerry Corley stuff, like learning how to do like a misdirection joke or a
Mhm.
wordplay joke or a three-way build or incongruity, like being able to play the notes.
Mhm.
I think that really puts you in an advantage to learn
Yeah.
how to like just do real comedy writing, because I think people go on stage without doing that and they learn by accident. They're like, that was funny, but they don't know why.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, joke writing is more on stage.
I
Like,
never like I've had so many people come and say like they write on stage, and I never really know what that means. Like, when you say that, do you mean like you're just like you hope that the tags come to you when you're talking about it on stage?
you kind of have an idea of what you want to talk about and what about it is funny, but how are you going to convey that funny to someone is going to happen on stage naturally.
Yeah.
When you naturally talk to your friends and you're telling a funny story, the funniness just happens. You don't write the tags at home. When you're going
Yeah.
to tell the funny story, you just end up saying things in the moment that come to you, and then they become tags, of course, and then
Yeah.
you improve on those tags.
See that?
But like,
Yeah, that's never how I like the way that I write. The way that it comes out, like where it kind of flows like that, is where I imagine myself doing it, where I imagine myself performing it, and then those tags is. But it never happens in real time. Like if I go up on stage with nothing or just the idea of something, nothing good will come. Like I will I feel like I will never get like a good set at it doing it that way.
really,
Yeah,
for me, I feel like time slows down on stage.
really.
Like, I feel like I'm quick, I'm on normal time, but normal time has slowed down, so I can make decisions much
Mm,
easier because I'm kind of, you know,
yeah,
everything else has slowed down, but I'm at regular speed, so I have the time to think and come back. But maybe I'm just stuck on stage like that for 30 seconds and I just don't know. And
yeah. I don't know, man.
know,
Yeah, it just for
yeah.
me the writing on stage thing. It never, like I said, I've had the odd tag come to me in the moment,
Yeah.
but the idea of building a bit or a set that way seems really, at least for me, it would be really inefficient. I
Yeah.
don't think I would get a lot done in
I've
a lot
sat
of.
with a notebook and written so much shit. Never once have I said it on stage.
Yeah,
Not once.
yeah,
All my material that I've said on stage and I continue doing right now has somehow just managed to manifest itself on stage. I, of
wow,
course, know what I'm going to talk about,
yeah,
but I don't know. But again, I'm not going to book shows and doing this, right? I'm doing it at mics. I'm trying to
yes,
figure out just the way I talk. I want to figure it out how to say it,
yeah,
right? Like when to say the funny part. Should I say it before? Should I say it after? But I
yeah.
know what I'm gonna say.
But then it's like,
But there's no definite tags to it.
well, yeah, and that's
Or
the thing though. It's
punchline.
like you could have like a good joke, but then if you're after that rolling laughter where you want like it's not just one big punchline, but it's followed up by like 5 tags that all build on one another. Like that's what I'm building towards. And I feel like you kind of, but you're right though. I think it's more, I don't think it's necessarily clicked with me on how to like, once you get that big laugh,
Mm-hmm.
how to like stay in the joke, like to
Yeah.
take it to an act out
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
make it absurd or apply it to like, I think in the moment, sometimes I don't think of that, but
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's why
Yeah.
I don't
It
want to like,
helps to slow it down in those times.
yeah,
It helps to just let them laugh about what they're laughing about, and then like slowly give them some more stuff. So like you're kind of like dipping your feet in the water slowly. So,
yeah,
you're seeing how far you can take this before it's too much.
yeah,
And you'll sometimes maybe see me go like too much and
yeah,
and ask the audience. I try not to do it, but like when I'm on that roll and all of a sudden I'm seeing like, oh, this last one they didn't like, I'll just be like too much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, that's because you're like figuring it out, right?
yeah.
Because you were, yeah, because it wasn't too much one line before that,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's funny.
did I just cross the line? Was that the line? You know?
Yeah.
So, but that's the fun part for me. Because if I'm just like fucking writing it at home and coming in and saying it to someone, then I feel like I'm losing the fun part.
Mm.
Like you'll see me on stage getting all excited about something sometimes, you know, like
Yeah.
guys, come on, you don't even know. You know?
Yeah.
And that excitement comes naturally because I'm telling someone a story. I feel like I'm talking to someone, and I feel
Yeah.
like I'm getting to like share with someone, and it's just one big fucking circle, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like the experience of like writing something that I wrote alone, but I thought was like, I know it'll get a laugh. Like when I write a bit that's like maybe 4 jokes long, but like fresh and it all works. Like that is the thing. I'm excited to tell it because it's, you know, relatively complete piece.
Yeah.
That's what I like doing.
Like recently, I was talking on stage and something really funny came up, and everyone was laughing, and then at the end of my set, I was like, "Yo, what was that funny thing I said that you guys found that funny?" You know?
Yeah,
And then
because of
the
course it
audience-
was the set that you weren't recording.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then the audience was like, "It was that what you said." And now, when I come back and I'm writing, I'm like, "There's no way I can write this into something," you know?
Yeah.
I'll just have to go on stage and figure this out in some way or the other.
Yeah.
So like now my spots to figure it out are gonna be Wednesdays in Saga.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's what I'm walking after when we wrap this up. I want to talk about what mics you do because
Yeah.
I got to get back out there.
Yeah, Wednesdays in Saga Canvas Art Bar. If you have the time and if you want to drive, it's the best mic. There's always some audience there. You always get, you know, there's not too many comics, so it's not like a long list either. So it's a fun mic to go to. Well run. When Jam's in town, Jam runs it.
Yeah.
And
He's gone for a little bit though.
Honestly, the best host.
I know you were saying.
Is hands down one of the best hosts. So it's always fun.
Yeah.
It's a good vibe. There's Himanshu there, Mike Payne sometimes, you know,
Yeah,
good people.
I think I'm gonna.
Good
I think I'm
energy.
gonna do that one.
Yeah.
I'll.
Aaron Redublio shows up. Me and Ed drive together.
I like that he's just listing names of people that most of the audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
How long has the camera just been locked on you, by the way?
I have not been looking at the camera at all because
man.
whenever I look at something like that, I feel like, oh God, I look ugly shit.
Oh man, I just yeah. Well, we are at over an hour.
Dude, this thing flew by. Did we even talk about anything that's worth your time?
Who knows, man? We just talked, man. That's what, like I came. You know what? We talked a lot about India and Zoroastrianism and comedy and stuff. That's all I really aim to do. You know, a little religion.
Yeah.
A little, maybe.
Dude, I could talk to you for hours, to be honest. Not about religion, but like about comedy. I could talk to you for. I've always been the kind of person that could talk to you easily. I don't know. Weirdly, you and I have always been able to talk to each other about.
Yeah,
comedy.
we got a good rapport. I was happy to get you in here, man. This is it was good. I'm like I said, I'm always glad to see you at shows, and it's always nice to have somebody who's like I feel like in a similar place. You know, just trying to figure it out.
It's also good energy, you know.
Yeah,
like we see each other, we smile. You know, like usually when you see someone you don't like, you're like, oh, this
guy's not good. Like somebody who's going to ignore me
the
or talk
whole
shit about
time,
me or
and it's just going to be an upward fucking
an upward I don't want that. Well, Harv, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming out. Check out Harv. What is your Instagram handle? So
Hi _ I am Harv.
There you go. Hi _ I am Harv at Instagram. Check him out. He's at the Backroom Comedy Club a lot. So in Toronto. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
It zoomed in on you again.
Oh, now it's zooming on you. There you go. Fuck yeah, look at that.
I hate this.
Money shot.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.